all right. Welcome everyone to Summer 1 Kids Camp Training. Thank you so much for being here. First, I just want to continue with that. I realize that not only is it a Sunday afternoon, and most of the time you guys are probably hanging out and resting and getting ready for the week, and so you're giving up your time on Sunday afternoon for just to be here. So thank you for doing that. You know, that's a sacrifice. And then in addition to that, you're giving 3 nights of your week to spend a lot of energy and time pouring into and investing in kids. So I just want to say thank you so much. I know that this isn't something that you have to do, and yet here you are sitting. So that says a lot about your heart and your willingness to serve in whatever capacity. So we feel really privileged to have you guys here, and thanks for making this a priority. As you know, we're extending Summer 1 Kids Camp into Summer 1 days. So we hope that you're able to plug in, not to volunteer, right? Like, just come and hang out on Saturday and Sunday, since you'll be spending a lot of time working. But I know there are a few crazy people here who are also serving on Saturday and Sunday. So for those of you amongst us, thank you. You get an extra jewel in your crown. So you're awesome. Well, we want to be able to get you out of here as soon as possible. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I know we're still waiting on a couple other people, but most of us are here. So just to begin, could you close your eyes and let's start our time in prayer this morning, afternoon, evening. It's a long day. Lord, we love you. Thank you so much for these leaders that are sitting here. God, I pray that you'd bless our time together. Lord, have your way with this week and all of the many things that are going on that'll be happening out on the fields or in the building or at a different location. God, we want to honor you in the way that we serve, in the way that we embrace the community that you've placed us in. So, Father, prepare our hearts to be leaders who humbly serve, and would you also prepare the hearts of people who are going to be walking through these doors. Lord, we're excited to see how you're going to move, and we ask all of these things in your name. Amen. All right, well, kind of our motto for this kids camp, because as the numbers come in and we try to get things figured out, flexibility is key. And so we just want to thank you in advance for coming. I know, like I said, you're going to be coming from long days of work, and so you'll probably be tired. But really what we're going to be trying to do throughout each one of the nights is to connect with purpose in whatever area that you're in. So from the very moment that you step into this building, that's on the front of your mind. Like, how can you connect with the different leaders amongst you, but most importantly with the kids the moment that they walk in, like learn their names, get to know them in any of the games, to be able to look for all those different opportunities to connect. And we'll be talking a little bit more about that in detail. And then to lead with excellence, right? So whatever that we're doing, we want to have this be an act of worship, whether that's cleaning up after dinner, maybe you are a head coach somewhere, a huddle coach, to really prepare well so that the kids who come in here, who we get the opportunity to serve, really feel like we have prepared well for them and that we have prepared a place for them to be. And so really leading with excellence, and then serving with humility, like I said. We never know who will be coming through our doors or what sort of tasks that we'll be doing that night, just because numbers might change. We might have to move people around. So thank you so much in advance for just your humility and the way that we serve together as a team. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the schedule. For you guys, you will have a binder in front of you. And if you want to open that up, you will see a schedule on the front. You'll also have a little schedule, just right, not even having to open up, just right in your binder cover there. And so a little bit about that. I'm just going to walk you through. If you've been a part of Summer 1 Kids Camp in the past, then you kind of recognize this, you know kind of how the flow goes, but I'm just going to walk through it with you again, just because I know we have several new people. And for those who are new on the team, thanks so much for being here for the first time. So the first thing that I want to say, we have supper ready for our volunteer teams every single night, because I know you'll be getting here from work, and sometimes it's hard to get here at the time that we have. So supper will be ready for you, and we'll be having that at 4:50 at the house. So again, I know that sounds kind of early, but we just want to make sure that you guys have plenty of time to eat. So feel free to go to the house at 4:50 to eat, and then we'll start serving supper, like I said, until 5:20. We'll also have Ashton Mason. She's going to be one of our leaders checking in at the house as well. So when you go there for For supper, we'll meet you right there. We'll get you checked in, get your name tag and everything like that, so you won't have to do anything in addition to that as well. And we'll have tables set up in the living room as well as outside underneath the tree, so in the shade, so there'll be lots of seating room. So bring your kids, come and hang out with us. There's different people who are making the food each night and serving it, so we hope that that's a blessing for you, as I know that, just like I said, getting here on time might be hard. Thank you. What service? Thanks. You lead with excellence and humility. All right. But you don't have to eat supper with us if you don't want to. We're like, oh, I'm going to go to Olive Garden before. Totally cool. That's fine. The time that you need to be here by is no later than 5:25. So if you don't want to do supper, then you need to come straight to the church, and we'll have those 3 tables ready to do volunteer check-in. So you're going to want to check in yourself as well as your kids. And if you have any nursery age kids, so anyone under the age of 3, that's when you'll go ahead and check them in as well, and you'll take them to the nursery at that time. Then right after that, you're going to come straight into here in the auditorium at 5:30 for our volunteer meeting. Every night, this is really important to be on time for, because we're going to go through any special announcements that might have come up from the night before. Maybe we figured out something, we want to change something within the schedule. This will also be your time to meet with your head coach, so the person that's in charge of the session that you're helping with. So they'll kind of tell you about the plan for that night. And then we'll pray together. So that's all really important things that you need to be here right at 5:30. If you have elementary kids and early child age kids as well, just bring them in here and we'll just all sit down and just have a very brief meeting. Like I said, it'll just be very short. This is also our way of making sure that everyone is here on time so that we can start registration for the doors to be open. So if we don't have all the huddle coaches here right at that time, then we can't really open up the doors and let kids come in, because huddle coaches, your main role is to build relationships with the kids. And if they don't have anyone to come and sit with, then we're not really well prepared for them. So please, what time do you be here? Well, that was a lot of different times. 5:30 in here for our team meeting. What time do you be here? Great, awesome, you're so on top of it. Then at 5:45, we'll start child registration. It's always 15 minutes before, which means when we'll let the community come in and begin coming in here as well. So for the rally services, Brittany is going to come up and talk in a little bit about that. But just so you'll know, we'll have you be at different stations. There'll be balloons that will mark the color, as well as signs that you'll hold up. So when your kids come in, we'll have ushers that will be leading them to the right colored balloon. And so you'll always be by that balloon at that specific place in the auditorium. We'll tell you a little bit more about that during our team meeting as well on Wednesday night. And also, for some of you guys, if you are Pam Mara, Nick Loganbill, Haley Reichman, Abby Mara, Sarah Loganbill, Todd Bowman, Drew Spiker, Trevor Addis, Melissa Hoffman, Amanda Addis, and Luke Johnson, you guys have this special piece of paper in your binders, which means you guys are in charge of being a usher or a greeter. On there, I have placed specific instructions of where you stand and what you're going to be doing. So it's pretty straightforward on there. I'm not going to go through each one of those, but right at 5:45, that means that you go to this spot every single night, and you're always that greeter or always that usher. I will say, for those who are usher number 3, you guys, what you'll do is you'll just stand in a line kind of by the sound booth, because the kids will always be entering in this door, and they'll always be exiting that door. So that's kind of how you'll lead them in. The moment that the parents come in, we really want to be able to help them, because it can kind of feel chaotic in here. There's tons of kids, it's very loud, it's hard to kind of figure out which balloon color do I go to. So your guys' roles is to literally take them, introduce yourself, and ask them if you can walk them to the right group. Then you'll walk them over, you'll introduce them to the huddle coach, you'll explain to the parent that they need to make sure that they have the security check-in tag, right? Because if they don't have that when they pick up, we can't release them unless we see their driver's license. We've had parents get really upset about this in the past, but it's for the safety, because there's going to be a lot of kids that we don't actually know from the community, so we want to make sure that we're letting them go to the right people. So just make sure that you explain that to the parents as you're dropping off. And then you're just going to walk them back out to the exit doors. So just keep on going back, getting in line and taking another family, so then each family has someone that can accompany them to the right group. Do you guys have any questions about this? The ushers or greeters? Pretty easy, really straightforward. All right, cool. Let me see what else I have on here that I wanted to do. Also, the person who's going to be at the door, usher number 2, which is Todd Bowman, and he's not here, so I'll explain that to him later. But if you see any kids wearing cleats, could you please ask them to take that off? We actually are going to have a place for them to put their shoes in the back, and that's because this is a floating floor. I don't really know what that means other than it's really easy to get holes in it, I guess. So don't have them wear cleats because we don't want holes in the floor. That would be great. Let's see. Okay. The other thing that I want to say is also make sure that you wear your t-shirt every single night. You'll have to figure out a washing schedule with that because you'll be really sweaty. Good luck on that one. And the other note that I made is for railroad. The railroad, I don't know if you guys have seen that, but for those of you who might be having to cross the railroad there. Yeah? Is that the direction? Yeah, okay. Directionally challenged. It's closed, so don't go that way for the week of camp. Make sure you come around because we'll be sending out an email to remind you all. We'll also be reminding the families as well, but I know that can kind of keep you guys away. So this time I'm going to have Brittany, our rally director, tell you guys a little bit more about that. There you go.
Hello. I want to echo what Sarah said and just say thank you for being here. Thanks for being here this week. You guys get to be the hands and feet of Jesus this week to a whole bunch of really cute kids. So thank you. Thank you for doing that. Okay, so I do get to be the rally director this year, so I'm really excited about that. So I want to hit just a few different things. First of all, your huddle group time. If you're a huddle group coach, let's focus on that first, and then I'll talk about what's up there on the slide. If you are a huddle group coach, your huddle group time is actually going to be after the halftime rally this year. We thought that might be a good way for you guys to extend our lesson if we had you go after the halftime rally instead of before. So that will just really act like a small group time for you and your huddle group to talk together about what we talked about in the halftime rally. To be able to, we've put like a few different icebreaker questions in there that are kind of fun for them to answer. You'll kind of talk about your group name one of the nights, which just kind of gives some good teamwork to your huddle group. It just makes everyone kind of buy into being a group for the whole kids camp. So make that fun, make that inviting for them. And then also just take time to listen to them as they're sharing either, it could be something from the icebreaker that's completely silly, but not rushing them through that, letting them have fun with it, because that's why we're here, right? We're here to have fun and to learn about God. So just taking time to listen to them and extend the lesson the best you know how. And all of that is going to be in your binders. If you're a huddle group coach, that will be in your binders, the questions that you're supposed to ask. So don't worry, you don't have to come up with that on your own, okay? And then, okay, so let's talk about the rally for a second. And this includes everyone who is in this room while we're doing rally. We want you guys to participate fully. So what does that look like? That looks like standing on your feet, getting into the motions of all the songs, and if you want to feel better about yourself, just make sure you find me, watch me do all the motions to the songs, and then you'll feel really good about what's going on with you, okay? So participate fully. You guys just have fun with them, because if you're having fun, they're going to be wanting to have fun too. So also looking for opportunities to just connect with them, getting to know them, getting to know what their interests are, and getting the opportunity to share God with them, to extend whatever the lesson is, whatever our mega point is for that night, making sure that you repeat that over and over with them, especially if you have a long walk from any of the fields in the house over there, that is a great opportunity for you to just drive home those mega points night after night. And then just helping the kids engage and listen, of course, is important. There's going to be a lot going on. Sarah mentioned it's going to be loud in here, and it's going to be a lot of fun. But helping the kids stay engaged into what is going on and what we're talking about is going to be important as well. Okay, so let's talk about behavior and discipline for a second. You'll notice up on the screen, what do I do if a kid doesn't want to participate? What do I do if a kid is having a hard time listening? When do I call for a director, which would be Kim or Amanda or Sarah or I? So all these are really great questions. I'm sure you're thinking like, I'm not gonna have any discipline problems this week. This will be no big deal. If you do, I mean, just in the off chance, if you do. I just want you to engage them as much as you can by knowing them. Okay, so we're just talking about forming a relationship with them. Invite them to participate with you. You are definitely gonna have a kid who is like, arms crossed, my mom made me come tonight and I don't wanna be involved in this. And honestly, what I would first do is let them sit. Let them sit there, let them be a little bit bummed out that they are having to participate in this and they can't even believe it. Because if they see other people around them having fun, chances are you will not have to prod them much into that. So let them kind of have their moment and then invite them in by you being the active participant. If you're having fun, chances are they're going to want to jump in and have fun too. And sometimes, I mean, raise your hand if you were the shy kid in the room as a kid. I was so shy as a kid, and so I really needed to be able to just see what was going on before I jumped in. That's going to be some kids too. They're not trying to be defiant. They're just shy, you know? So give them the time and the space to kind of figure that out. Okay, so what if they're having a hard time listening? Well, first of all, you can remind them that it's time to listen. If they're really having an issue, sometimes just your proximity to them can be helpful. So just going and sitting by them can kind of re-engage them to what's going on. It's like, oh, the teacher's sitting by me, I better pay attention. And then if you're having two kids in your group that are just not wanting to pay attention, just plant yourself right in between them. It's fine. They can be friends through you instead, okay? Okay, and so when do I call for a director is our last question up there. And I would say that if their behavior is continually disruptive to what you're doing, if other kids are missing out on something because you've really got a kid who's causing you issues, I would say that is a great time to come find one of us. Let us connect with that kid for a little bit, love on him for a bit, and then we'll bring him back to you when we think things are back in order. Also, if they are showing aggressiveness, or sometimes you're going to have a kid in your group that is a runner. Those are the hardest. I'm really sorry if you have a runner in your group this week that just tend to wander off, or they start running. If their safety is at stake, definitely come and find one of us. And we are more than happy to help with that. Okay, so just to kind of go back over a few things, tips or tricks to keep the kids engaged: participate with them, keep things lighthearted and fun, get to know them on a personal level, and also just remind them of the mega point each night, and act excited, because it's fun to be here and we want them to feel the same way.
Okay, I'm going to go over briefly some important safety things. Obviously, we want to be able to have a fun time, but safety is really important with that. We want to make sure that kids feel safe, and then also that you're safe too. And so there's a few different things that we're going to do with that. I want to just kind of build off of what Brittany said. Last year we had a kid who had a really hard time staying focused, and he was literally running in circles around the entire auditorium. And we had the amazing privilege of getting to build a relationship with him. And so if that does happen, we have several people who have asked to be floaters. And so we do have additional people where we can try to put someone together with them as kind of a buddy or a shadow system, just to make sure they have one-on-one attention. So if you feel like that's maybe a need for someone in your group, please let us know that so that we can help meet that need as well, okay? Okay, so important safety things. The first thing is the one-on-one rule. This really goes for anyone that's working with minors to never be alone with a child in any capacity. There always needs to be at least one background checked adult. So just a reminder, if you haven't filled out your background check form that was sent to you, I know several of you were like, is this legit? Like, should I fill this out? Yes, it's legit. Please fill it out. We need that done before you can serve. So there needs to be at least one background check adult, or another background check adult, so right, two, or a background check adult and a teen, okay? So that counts as two with a child, and then that way you can be with a child, okay? So just make sure that you're aware of that, the one-on-one rule. The other thing is the bathroom guidelines, and then also practicing safe touching. So for bathroom guidelines, never send ever two kids to the bathroom together. So something that you might not be aware of, but peer-on-peer sexual abuse has risen by 300% in the last several years, which means a child usually might see another child that's younger or maybe at a lesser status in them, whether it's a disability that they might have. And so that's where we're seeing a lot of sexual abuse happen. So with that then, there never should be two kids alone together either. There needs to always be adults present with that. So never send kids to the bathroom together alone. Really, if there needs to be bathroom time, there needs to be two adults going. If you're elementary age, the bathroom that your guys are going to be using is our regular bathrooms right out here. If you're early child age, you guys are going to be using the bathroom that's in the hallway. What they've done in the past, I know, and Amanda will probably talk to you a little bit about this, is they try to have designated bathroom times where you guys are going together in a group, and that might be something that you want to do as an elementary. But in case, let's say you only have two adults, right, and you don't have an extra person to get to go to the bathroom, what we'll do is we have a building monitor, and that's going to be Lynn Medina here. And so just grab Lynn and say, hey, can you be my other person to go to the bathroom? And so what you guys will do is just, the kid can go in, you can just stand on the outside, you don't have to literally stand in the bathroom with them. But if they are a younger age kid and they do need some help, so that's really just going to be in our early childhood, 3 to 5 years kids, and they need to help, make sure you have another adult there, that the door stays open and you're in line of sight with someone else as well. So that's really important. The other thing I want to point out is teens, no matter what the age, so unless you're over the age of 18, you're never allowed to go to the bathroom with, you're not allowed to be that person that's going to be walking to the bathroom as well. So that's really important to monitor. All right, counting your group practice safe touching. So for that one, Scott Kramer, will you stand up, please? All right. Okay, Morgan, I need you to stand up. You guys can come up here. Okay. And you are going to get to know people, right? And this goes for anyone. This is like the youth pastor thing. Can you please show the side hug? This is appropriate, right? Side hug. All right. Or high fives. We love high fives. Great. A pat on the back even. Whoever has Scott Kramer in your group, have fun this week. It's going to be great. So, right, so that's safe touching. Don't do front hugs. Doesn't matter. Just don't do it. We're just, again, we live in a world where this is unfortunately things that we're needing to put into place because of things that have happened. So, side hugs, high fives, pat on the back, all definitely okay. All right? If you have younger age kids, you can sit down now. Thank you. Thank you. The side hug. If you have younger age kids, and there's right, so maybe they're sitting on your lap, things like that. If we could just keep that to a minimum, I think that's probably good. Again, we're just wanting to be as safe as possible, just because we want to have God-honoring environments. So make sure you're doing that. Counting your group and staying together. So there's going to be a lot of movement here at this camp. You're going to be going from place to place. Count your group before you leave and count your group once you get there. We had a situation one time where a kid had signed in, but then the parents ended up actually taking them. So we thought they were here, but we couldn't find them because they were registered and they were in. Oh, it was really scary. I thought someone got kidnapped. But that literally could happen. You never know. Or a kid might run, right? Like, this stuff happens on Sunday mornings. We've had kids run out of Sunday school and things like that. So please just make sure that you're counting your groups, you know who's in your group. We'll give you up-to-date rosters right when rally starts so that you'll know exactly who's in your group, okay? And the other thing is staying together. When you are walking to like the house or the fields, don't have kids running way out in front of you. Walk together as a group, because that way, like I said, we're just keeping everyone together for that. The check-in and check-out, making sure that everyone who comes into here has their name tag on, and when the parents come and pick up, huddle coaches, you guys are in charge of making sure that the name tag meet me. Gosh, dang it. I really thought I need to put that in my note. Your name tag, it needs to match the code with their code as well. So if they don't have it, maybe they lost it, you need to find a director or myself, and we will check the driver's license to make sure it's the right person, okay? Like I said, parents will get mad at you, but just lovingly say that this is for them, okay? So that's really important that we're doing that every single time. And also, during their checkout time, and I'll walk you through this at the end of rally as well, making sure your kids stay seated during that time is really important, just so there's not absolute chaos as parents are trying to find their kids. And then finally, please stay out of the parking lot. So when you're walking to the fields and house and things like that, we just have very short parking lots, and it's really hard to see when kids kind of dart in and out, and there will be people driving and things like that. So just make sure you stay on the sidewalks or in the grass. And when it comes to parking, if you could do us a favor and park for volunteers, either in the gravel lot by the house or in the back of the church, that will leave room for people in the community to use, you know, the front and side parking lots as well, okay? All right, let me check my notes to make sure I didn't forget anything. Let's see here. That's it. All right, so during this time, we're going to have specifically meet with the 6 to 12 huddle coaches and assistants and head coaches. And you guys are going to stay right here. And then the 3 to 5 group is going to meet in the double classroom. Just so you know, directors, afterwards, if you guys could, huddle coaches, meet with the head coaches in here or in the double classroom, just so you guys can touch base on what you guys are going to be doing for the week, just so you guys are all on the same page. That's great. So at this time, you guys can transition, and we'll finish up our training.
Okay, so I wish I could see your faces. I can see your faces if I do this. I am Kim Reichman, and if I didn't get to meet you before, I definitely want to meet you. Thank you for volunteering. This is a huge team, and it's taken a lot of playing around with who can do what and who wants to do what, but I am appreciative for each and every one of you. And I want to talk first about roles. We have a lot of people that have not helped before helping us this year. So in case you aren't exactly sure what your role is, our head coaches are the ones that are in charge of all of the activities for the 2 sessions. So head coaches know who you are. They're the ones going to be planning everything. And a lot of them, most of the groups have two head coaches. If you are a huddle coach, which are all adults, you are going to have any size group. Right now they're all different sizes, but you won't have more than 8 that you will have a roster for, you will be in charge of throughout the whole night. So those will be your groups. The only thing that you will have to be individually in charge of is that huddle group time. That's that 10 minutes after our rally service. And in your binders, it has everything in there to walk you through exactly what to ask that Brittany was talking about. Everything you need to ask, you don't have to come up with anything on your own. It's all in here for you. Just follow along. And if you are an assistant, which are a few adults and mostly teens, you are just going to help out in any way possible for any of the huddle coaches or the head coaches. So if that's shagging balls or whatever they can do to help, coaches use these teens and assistants anyway. We have a lot of volunteers this year and not as many kids at this point. We're hoping for more numbers to come in, but so we're going to have a lot of help. So use them as much as possible, and if that means maybe some of your drills or things that you're doing, games you're doing, are in smaller groups because we've got more help, then use them. Okay? All right. Schedules. Be on time. If you notice in the front, if you have a binder, then you're a head coach or a huddle coach. I put a little schedule in there on the very front, and that's just to help you be on time. Really important. The rally services that happen in here, it will start on time. So if you aren't here, we're not going to wait for you. We're just going to get started, and it's tough because the lights are out if you kind of come waltzing in late. I know it's hard, especially for those of you that are out in the fields or that are coming from the house. It's a hike, and we only give you 5 minutes. So just, I just put this here just to help you, just so you can glance down and go, okay, I've got 5 minutes to wrap it up and we're heading out. So hopefully that will help you. Again, with transitions, it's a tight schedule. We couldn't find any more time anywhere to give you more time. There's just not enough time in the evenings. So just especially with your, if you're trailing, sometimes the kids are messing around, walking in line, coming back. Maybe if you've got somebody in front, an adult in front, walking fast, somebody in back, pushing them along so you guys can get here as quickly as possible. And especially just reminding about the cleats in case football too. If anybody wears football cleats and soccer cleats, those all have to come off before they can come in. Okay. The 2 sessions, I emailed you about it. We had some thought about giving you, instead of just giving you 2 30-minute sessions, or 2 30, whatever, I switched it and I'm giving you a 40-minute session and a 20-minute session. So you'll have, your first session with them is longer, and that's thinking you're probably going to be maybe finding out their names, head coaches finding out their names and just giving their first intro. Just takes some more time. And then maybe you save your games. Maybe you're doing, like if you're doing soccer, you're doing all your skills and drills during that first 40 minutes. And maybe when you come back for that second 20 minutes, maybe you do more of a game or something more fun, something like that. So we're going to try that this year, and I'll get feedback afterwards and see if you guys like it better, if you'd rather have more even times, but we're going to give that a try. Okay, I want to go through your binder real fast. The first thing in your binder is a schedule. That's just a more detailed schedule that tells you where you're supposed to be and when. I didn't feel like, this just gives you more information, but the shorter one's on the front. But that's what the first thing is there. The second thing is your map. And if you look closely in blue, that's going to be your rain plan. And the weather looks amazing right now, not even cloudy. So we've never had to use it, knock on wood. But if it happens to rain or something bad happens, if you'll look, you can see who's moving where. So anybody outside, you guys are obviously coming in, and we're going to have to shift, and you're going to have to be creative with your time, because nobody is really in an ideal place, but we'll just do the best we can if we get to that point. So just take a look at that and see where you're going. And then after that in your binder is your safety procedures, which Sarah kind of went over in just some more details. You can look at that at home. If you're a huddle coach, then the next thing you have in there, head coaches don't have this, but if you're a huddle coach, it kind of gives you a few pages giving you some background on what your role might be. So you can look through that. And then past that will be where it'll start, where it says day 1. Let me find it. Chosen by God, day 1. that gives you your mega point, and that's where you will find what you're going to do during your huddle group time. So you've got day one, and during your huddle coach time, like for day one, it tells you what you're going to do. What's your name? How'd you hear about kids camp? Come up with a group name and your discussion questions. Okay? And then if you keep going, you'll find day two, and then you'll find day three for Friday in there. And that's just for huddle coaches. Okay. That pretty much is binders. Oh, I don't have many of them with me. You don't have it. Let me feed these. Can I borrow these for a second? Thanks. Okay, so these, if you are a huddle coach, you have these in your front pocket. You have one that says Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. These are their kind of their little summaries of the night, so the parents know what we did and what we talked about. And then it's their I did it cards. If you've helped in the past, kids are all about the I did it cards. And so you'll send these home. There's 8 per group. So hopefully you don't have more than 8. I'll give you more if for some reason you have more. When the kids leave, while they're waiting for their parents, huddle coaches pass these out to each kid. And what we want them to do is take it home, show it to their parents, talk to them about what they learned, and then at the bottom it says, I did it. They're going to tear it off or cut off the bottom little section down here, and they'll bring that back the next night, and it gets put into a drawing for prizes. So they get really into this, and the prizes are pretty cool. So after the first night, when they see people's names, then they'll bring it back the next night. So, so every night you're going to send these home. Okay? Thanks. You also have, I forgot about these, decision cards. Huddle coaches have these. These are for the night that the gospel is presented, and when Brittany does that, it's actually not going to be on the last night like it's usually been. It's going to be on Thursday night. So on the second night, if during that time you have someone in your group that, if you look at the cards, it has their name and their age, if they did a rededication, if they have a prayer request, or if they actually asked Jesus into their heart, we're going to mark that because we want a record of that and we want to follow up with those kids. So you've got a pen, I think, in your binders. Did you guys get pens or no? No, I forgot. I wanted you to have pens. I will give you pens Thursday night during our meeting before, so that you can quickly fill this out if you have somebody in your group, because that talk tells you that they've made that decision, and then you'll collect these and get these to one of us directors. Okay. The last thing I was going to talk about is kind of looking where we are numbers-wise. Our basketball group is sitting at 6 so far. We have 6 in that group. Soccer's got 11. Disc golf has 5. Football's got 6. Martial arts has 10. Music and drama has 12. The ages 6 to 8 art is 12, and that's full. The 9 to 12 art has 9. Multimedia has 6, and volleyball has 4. So we're sitting at about 81 kids so far, which is amazing, but we need more. So we're hoping that the signups today and the next couple days will have people that walk in, kids that bring friends. So, try not to worry too much about it, but just know that the numbers are going to change a little bit in these last couple days. But right now I have a few groups that, there's really only enough right now for one huddle group, one coach. If something happens and basketball gets crazy full, I might have to move somebody from one that isn't really being used in another group or something like that. Just know that please be flexible, because we have no idea what's going to happen. Like basketball last year had 3 groups, and this year only has 6 so far. So you just don't know who's going to want to do what. But I feel confident that, we can, if we end up with only 6, and if basketball stays with 6, then we'll make 2 groups of 3, and that will just give you, as a huddle coach, just more time, with those 3 kids versus 6. So, anyways, but we also have lots of floaters. We have lots of people to help. So, I feel really good. We feel we're going to be completely covered. So, I think that's it. Do you guys have any questions? Did you have something? No? Yeah.
These forms that I did,
Yeah.
are they going to explain that, or do we explain that?
I don't know. The I did it cards, he said, is it the huddle coach's job to explain that, or will somebody?
We'll explain it from up front, and then you guys will hand that out. It'll be right before the day dismissed.
It'll be in the final closing rally is when hopefully we'll have that on the agenda to talk about. Yeah. Does anybody else have any questions? Yeah.
The last 2 years, I've done art and I've had kids ask about snacks and kind of bummed out of them. And so we've taken it on ourselves to bring our group snacks, but then it kind of caused like, oh, that group has snacks, why aren't we having snacks? So what do you feel about that and how can we do that as a group, address that? And down in art, are we gonna have, I know typically it's really hot, so I think last year we had a big thing of water. Is that gonna be again down in the house?
We can. I didn't realize that there was a water down there last year. Oh, you brought it yourself?
Because we didn't want kids going up downstairs over.
Oh, that's why I didn't know that was there. Oh, well, thank you for doing that. The snack thing, I don't know what. I know the whole allergy thing, and yeah. Right. Yeah.
I didn't know if that's something we can address as a whole group and make it like across the board, yes or no, kind of thing, have snacks, but all of us have snacks, all of us not have snacks. How do I feel about that?
Yeah, Whitney, we'll talk a little bit about that.
Okay.
That's a great question.
All right, yeah, thanks.
Anyone else? No. No. Do you need to talk to them again about? Are you going to put them in groups?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. We want to make sure that you know who you're going to be serving with this week. So we're going to have you guys meet with your head coach and your huddle groups, not huddle groups, your huddle coaches, whatever. Anyways, you guys are all going to meet right now, head coaches. Not all the head coaches are here. We'll be meeting with them at a different time for training because of scheduling conflicts. So just stay seated for a second. I'll tell you where to go.